This episode of Little Bit of Life podcast is sponsored by Aola Luxe. This company was founded in 2021 in New York, and their brand has you in mind, bringing you uplifting and luxurious scents that will leave your space smelling heavenly. All of the ingredients used in their products are 100% natural, non-toxic, phthalate-free, and paraben-free. All of their candles are made with wooden wicks, cocoa apricot cream wax, and the finest fragrance oils that provides a wonderful scent with each and every burn. They pride themselves on sustainability, and all of their vessels and bottles are reusable. I am in love with their room spray. I have the lemon lavender, and let me tell you, it's on a little secret. It smells like Fruit Loops. It smells incredible. I also have a lot of different allergies and medical migraines, and with all of Aola Luxe products, it is surrounding me at all times. And I'm telling you, it goes from my room to the living room to the car, on trips, in hotels. I don't think there is anywhere that I have not used this room spray. Make sure you order today off of their website at aolaluxe.com and make sure to follow their Instagram with so many different handmade candles, room sprays, body butters, and so much more. Be sure to follow for all of their new products that they're dropping and all of the future insights to order. Again, make sure you order today, www.aolalux.com. Welcome to Little Bit of Life podcast. I'm your host, Tabitha, better known as Little on social media. A lot of you may know me from social media, but little is shown off the apps. This podcast is dedicated to having the real, raw, and occasional chats on topics of what we seem to think but don't say. Special guests will join in that have impacted me along the way. Very little is left off limits. Enjoy on your favorite streaming platform, watch live videos of interviews on YouTube, and let's dive into some topics together. Hey guys, welcome in another episode, Little Bit of Life podcast right here with your host, Little. We have made it. This is a wrap on season 3. I am amazed at how much you guys love this podcast. You guys actually want to hear the things that I have to talk about and the topics that I have to push. Interesting. But I have to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. To see and to hear where this podcast has reached is just mind-blowing to me. I honestly started a podcast. It's been now a year and a couple months, and I thought this was just going to be one and done. Maybe just a couple things that were something that were on my heart that I wanted to talk about, but I never thought that they would be embraced like it has been. So before I get all sappy on you guys, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Today, I have on a episode that I'm really excited to share with you and a guest that, I try not to get teary when I talk about this person, but we have reached, yes, Little Bit of Life podcast has reached to Africa. It's amazing to me. And it's through TikTok and social media and sharing. But I feel that we're all on this journey together because we all have this sense of belonging, but also helping others in really hard and trying times. I found this individual on TikTok, and seeing that he listened to my podcast and that he watched my videos, I used to go into his lives all the time, and it was something that made me truly realize that some of the things that we worry about in our day-to-day, there's always somebody else out there that is struggling more, but it's truly the mindset that you have and really focusing on when you get down, getting back up again. Enjoy today's episode and the last episode of season 3. Season 4 is right around the corner next week, and it's launching. You are not going to want to miss this one. Sit back and enjoy from the United States straight to Africa for this very special episode that truly has touched me from the bottom of my heart. Hey guys, and welcome into another episode of Little Bit of Life podcast with Little. It is early morning for me, so good morning for those that are listening, and it is evening because we have reached all the way across the world. This is insane to me, and I am so excited. I have a very special guest today, and I will allow him to introduce himself. We have reached all the way to Africa. Is this just insane and crazy? So good morning. How are you doing?
Thank you so much. I'm doing great, actually. I'm better than good, and I'm really excited and honored, for you to have me here on your podcast.
I'm so excited to have you on. I found you on TikTok, and it is unbelievable to me that not only how active and amazing you are on that website to be so positive and help other people, but the fact that you listen to the podcast all the way from where you live is amazing to me. So how did you get on TikTok? What made you get on there?
Actually, I got on TikTok during the time of COVID. When COVID started hitting the world that time, then is it 2020 actually, 2020 March, I think. Yeah, then I we're just kind of, I don't know, we're just kind of in the house, and then we're just kind of navigating the internet, and I just, you know, happened to download TikTok. Actually, I didn't want TikTok. Actually, I just thought it was kind of a distraction or something. So then I got to just go on the Play Store and download the app.
How has it been being from Africa and seeing and talking and interacting with so many people around the world? Have people been nice or negative? What have you found on that app?
At first, honestly speaking, I will tell you that I found out that people can really be mean. You meet so many different kind of people. You meet lovely people. You meet negative people. But TikTok, honestly, is just full of people who won't reveal their faces. People who are just mean and negative. People who just depress you, or try by all means to put you down, or make you to put your head down or something. Yeah.
I love your videos. I came across your videos, I would say almost close to 2 years ago. You're always very positive. You're always trying to make people obviously believe in God, believe in their faith, but also to realize that life could be so much worse and to just be grateful and to be happy. So, especially on that app, seeing all the negative, seeing somebody come in with a completely different viewpoint is so amazing. And I love what you have to say and what you help people with on a day to day to make people realize it's okay to be sad, but you have to get back up. And there's always somebody that has it worse than you do.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Because what I realized is that during that time of COVID-19, people were staying in their homes, and people were getting depressed. People were going through a lot. Some people didn't expect this pandemic, and most of the people, it was their first time experiencing a pandemic like this. So a lot of people were going through a lot. So I just had to kind of think of something that will really help people, and people started loving the videos, and I was really excited about that.
How did COVID impact your country during the pandemic? I mean, are you still having an issue over there right now?
It was really tough actually when it first hit the country, because we came to know about COVID is I think it was 2019 December in our country. So things got worse, around March here, around March, whereby uh, lockdowns, we had lockdowns, and the whole country was under lockdown, and uh, food was scarce, and everything was just so hard to find. It was the first time, it was just fear was just hovering over all the country, and that's just what happened. But now we no longer are experiencing those cases of COVID right now.
We're starting to get COVID that's kind of coming up in certain areas worse than others. So tell us, the listeners, a little bit about yourself. Where were you born? What is it like living in Africa? Because I want to come over there and visit so badly, but I think we have a different viewpoint of what we think Africa is versus actually what it is like to live there.
Okay, my name is Tsepiso. Actually, the names you see on TikTok are just um, just funny names. I don't know how I came about those names, but yeah, my name is Nelson Tsepiso Pofusito. That's why you see the acronym NESBLESS on TikTok. Yeah, so I was born in Botswana in a village called Kanye, but I'm from a village called Ranaka. Yeah, so Africa is actually beautiful. Africa is so different from what people actually portraying, what the media is portraying. Africa is beautiful. Africa is, I wouldn't say all peaceful, but most of the countries here, most of the people, we are happy. We are just peaceful people. We know how to get along. We know how to, invite visitors and be hospitable unto them. Africa is just it's wonderful actually.
So I always see with your social media, you're always walking to school or walking to go here, and you are so interested in not only education, but also learning things from other people. So, in regards to that, especially within your country, do a lot of people or a lot of your friends, do they go to school? Do they go to college? Or what is the lifestyle like in Africa?
Um, the lifestyle here, to be honest, you can't really just rely on school. My friends, they go to school, but then the thing is, after school, what happens to your life after you go to school? Many people, they go to school, but then after school, some of them, they just do well in their studies, and you see, this is a bright kid, but what happens now after they finish, that particular course or that particular, after pursuing that particular study, they wish to study. But the question is, what happens after that? So you find out that a lot of people are bright here, but then after finishing school, they just, maybe stay in their homes, and, they get depressed and, stuff like that. And you wonder, like, what happened to this kid? I thought this person was, kind of bright or something. So personally, I'm just somebody who, I finished my I did pursue, tourism and hospitality, in starting from 2017. Yeah, so I just finished on 2021. I got my honors degree, but I can't just say, I'm waiting for a job and I just fold my hands and say, no, job, come to me. I'm waiting for you. I'm here. I have to like hustle for myself or maybe do one thing or another, to keep myself alive, to keep my family alive, and to see how I can, prevent myself from being involved in some things that are, going to harm other people or make other people to be sad.
Is it really hard in Africa, especially in your area, to get a job? Is it, especially with like how many tourists go there, or how do you, like, I know for here, we'll just go on the computer and there's hundreds and hundreds of jobs that are available. So is it really difficult once you get out of school to get a job?
Um, considering the fact that I just kind of graduated immediately when COVID just, hit the world. We just got out of the pandemic, and I even graduated in the middle of the pandemic, and you just find out that tourists were not encouraged to come to the countries. A lot of laws or a lot of rules and regulations. So I think we're still recovering. The country is still recovering. So I wouldn't say it's difficult, but as of now, it's not easy. As of now, it's not easy because we're still recovering from from this kind of COVID-19 pandemic. Mm.
Mm-hmm. So I always see on your videos, you're always talking to people about be happy, be blessed, be grateful for what you have. So what makes you happy?
Actually, what makes me happy is, the love of God in my life, the way God just accepted me for who I am, the way God made me to accept myself for who I am. Because I used to not be happy. I was wondering, like, where could I get this kind of happiness?
Mm-hmm.
Where could I just be free? Where could I get this kind of, the peace of mind? I'm looking for peace of mind. I'm looking for something is missing within me. So then I said, like, no, let me just visit one church someday. And then when I got there, somebody was just preaching, and I got to invite Christ into my life. And that's when, I got this peace of mind. And I realized that, oh, wow, there is peace in God who will always, love you unconditionally. A God who will always, accept you for who you are. A God who will make you to accept yourself for who you are and for how he made you.
If there's someone listening right now that may be depressed, is sad, going through a hard time, what would you tell them?
Honestly, if there's somebody who is depressed or going through a hard time, I would just tell them to like invite Christ into their life, because that's the start. That's the start. People normally think that like advices and this and that would work without Christ. But for me, actually, I found out that if I give somebody advice and they don't have Jesus Christ, maybe they'll go back to that thing that depresses them. Maybe it's alcohol, maybe it's something that is bad that they are doing, and they can't come out of that. So when you come to when you come to Jesus Christ through God, you are going to be able to, it's going to help you to come out from that thing that is making you, to go through a hard time. And whatever you're going through, he's going to, help you. You won't feel alone. You won't feel like you're lonely, and you won't feel like, it's only myself who's facing this thing.
I think that's important for listeners, and it's something that I always use on my social media, is that you're not alone. And I think that's why I wanted to do this episode, especially that we've reached all the way to Africa with this podcast, is there's no barriers in regards to distance, race, sexuality, how you were brought up, your belief system. There is no barrier between what humans feel. We all feel the same. We all have those emotions of feeling not good enough, that we're alone, that we're stuck, that we can't get out of this feeling. And I wanted to have him on today, especially to show and have people listen that you're not alone in what you're going through, and speaking about your troubles, speaking about your hardships and your struggles will allow you to connect with new people, even across the world, that may be going through something. This pandemic with COVID really flipped us all upside down. We all became, as he said, depressed, stuck in our homes, scared, unsure of what was next. But this also is allowing us to talk about our feelings. And I love that you talk about everything, especially on TikTok. You talk about religion, you talk about depression, you talk about feelings. And I think that's so important for people to share and express how they're feeling, because it just connects us together.
Definitely, it's so very important. And you know, like you're saying, like this these days we have the internet. We are able to spread. Where very fast. We're able to spread information very fast. So the question somebody may ask themselves is, why can't we just spread positivity very fast? Why should negativity prevail? Why should negativity spread so fast? So that's why I had to just take a leap of faith and say no. Let me just talk about something. Maybe somebody's out there, they need this love. Maybe somebody out there is in need of this love. Maybe somebody out there is depressed. Somebody else there is so down. And I even had to go to the level of creating a TikTok in my own language, and I realized that, oh wow. So my people couldn't understand, because not all of them, understand this English, So I had to create another account whereby, I just, talk in our local language, in Setswana. The local language is called Setswana. So I could see that, people are, they started to understand, and they even love the videos and say, man, we love this. And, it was beautiful to see that, to see people responding in that way.
Mm-hmm. I was looking in regards to that. I'm probably not going to say it right, but is it Dumela? Is that how you say good morning or good day?
Thank you so much for remembering. That's that's beautiful, actually.
I'm like, I think I'm probably going to say it wrong, but I'll still give it a try.
No, it's beautiful, actually. You said it. You said it right way. It's correct. It's correct. Mm.
So for the listeners, can you say something in your language there, and then let us know what it means for those that have never heard it before?
Dumelang bagaetsho, ke tswa ko Botswana, ke le rata thata. That means greetings, everyone. I'm from Botswana, and I love you all.
That's so beautiful. I love that.
Thank you so much.
So with your friends having TikTok, do they realize that you're like one of the biggest famous sensations in Africa that we hear and see all the way over in the United States?
Yeah, they actually realize that, they realize that, that their friend is making an impact. But they were not the TikTok kind of people. They were just people who, they use other platforms, but they don't use TikTok that much. They realized though. I would say they realized, and they are still aware. Yeah, they are still aware.
So for you, especially in Africa and where you live and where you were raised, what does your future look like? Where do you want to be in the next 3 to 5 years? What are your goals?
In the next 30 to 5 years, honestly speaking, I'm just looking into, what God wants me to, to hop into, the future with my family. I just see myself as somebody who is married by then, with a kind of a stable job, invested in, the things I'm planning to invest on, and financially secure, and still helping people, more especially the part of helping people, because I feel like my life is all about helping people. No matter what I feel like I'm lacking. No matter what I try to do, I end up going back to helping somebody. No matter how selfish I try to become, I just end up going back to helping somebody. So I see myself as somebody who in future would have invested in helping people, and getting the young people out of the streets, out of the bad things that are involved in helping people who are depressed, and the cases of suicide in our country going down. And I'll be really happy about that if it occurs in future.
Is the percentage or the amount of people with suicide, is it pretty high where you live?
Yeah, actually, it's pretty high. Like just yesterday, I just heard of somebody committed suicide. A lot of suicide cases. We experiencing them. I think especially young people, because you find out that there's lack of employment and other issues from families and stuff. That are really affecting them, and they end up just taking their lives. And you see them as people who really had a bright future in them, and you're wondering, why would this person do this? And you find out that they've been hiding something inside them. They needed somebody who could just hold them and say, bro, it's gonna be okay, or sister, it's gonna be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here in the States, we have the option to have therapy. We can go to a counselor, a therapist. Sometimes it's covered by our medical insurance, but sometimes it's not, which is really difficult, especially for money. So for you and everyone in your country, what happens with depression and what happens with mental health? Do you guys have the opportunity to go to a therapist, or in Africa, is it very expensive to go speak to someone?
I wouldn't say it's expensive or it's unaffordable. I would just say people sometimes the government has those centers. Yes, those people who would like kind of say, no, if you are depressed, if you are going through this, dial this number. But people take those things for granted. They just feel like, nah, just on the internet. I mean, just some random numbers. So when they are facing some difficulties, they don't dial those numbers, they don't visit those places. So I feel like we should kind of blame them or in that area, because those things are there. I mean, there are always people to talk to, but most of the people believe that family is the only place, to take your issue to. So when family is rejecting you, you feel like, oh no, I'm done. My life, I should just, drop the, make tools down.
Mm-hmm. Family is very much a huge aspect of your culture. And it's usually not rare that you live with family and you assist your family. And as the male of the household, you're responsible. Is that something that you think affects a lot of people's positivity and mental health because they feel that pressure from their family?
Definitely, definitely, because especially when you are, and these days it doesn't matter if you are a male child or a female child, because the parents will look at you like, oh no, you're in your 20s now, you should be helping us now. So the culture here is that when parents are raising you, actually they're raising you, to grow up and find a job and start helping them. So that definitely puts a pressure on you. When you finish your school, yeah, you don't easily find your job. You don't immediately find your job. Because we don't all study for things whereby immediately you finish your school, you are going to get that particular job. So it puts pressure on a lot of young people, because I've been observing it for quite some time now. It puts pressure on us, and it makes you to feel like, oh, these people, they're not gonna love me. These people, I really need to provide for them very quickly. Not that they're suffering, not that they're so hungry in the fact that in the sense that they're gonna die. No, but there's just that pressure that my son needs to work. I need to see my son coming with a car here. I need to see my son, coming to see me and visiting me with this and that, groceries, and and what have you.
Mm-hmm. I was researching for the listeners. The average income in comparison to the States in Botswana is $421 a month. So for
Yeah.
those that are sitting and listening, imagine all of your bills, your rent, your mortgage, your car payment, all of our stuff that we have, our cell phone bills, our internet, our electricity, our Netflix, like all of our fun things. Could you live on $421 a month? Like, I can't even begin to imagine. So with the average income, what, especially with how the economy is right now, what is it like for you living? Like, are your groceries and food expensive, or is it really difficult to like purchase a car, especially because you're working so hard to provide for your family?
Hey, honestly, it's difficult unless you really, working, doing, that kind of job that will really pay you, a lot more than that $421 it's really difficult because right now, the food, everything, fuel. Even when you are thinking about buying a car, you think like, oh goodness, I'm just buying a car in the middle of, when the fuel is now expensive. I have to pay the rent, I have to take care of myself, I have to take care of the family. So when you just divide that 400, you just you just become depressed because you are thinking like, goodness, how am I going to survive this? How am I going to do this? So you end up seeing a lot of people getting themselves into debts, unnecessary debts, and just to please their families, just to live a lifestyle you know, of pleasing people, and just trying to help themselves there and there.
We have that struggle here, especially because like I live in Arizona in the States, and our gas went up to almost five. I think it was $5.89 was our highest. We're down now to, I think, don't quote me, but I think we're at 4.75 a gallon. So it was really difficult because the cost of living, so how much we get is not changing, but the price of everything is still going high for food and fuel. Um, and I can't even begin to imagine separating 400 to $420 a month amongst an entire family. I don't understand how anyone could not be depressed and wonder how to get through that. So, where are places that you have never been but want to travel?
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll say the states. Yeah, the United States will be will be the first place actually. Well, I would love to travel in future, and then the UK, and then um, I'd love to go to Egypt. I just love to go. Especially exploring the history of the ancient, Christianity, and a lot of things actually. I love tourism. I love, I would love to travel. I would love to visit a lot of places actually, just to see the history of, where a lot of things used to happen. All those things that are still preserved. All those precious things, precious places. I would love to really visit. And I'm somebody who really loves, seeing people. I love seeing new people. I love interacting with people, and I'm so open to people. I get so bored when I'm meeting, the same people every day. I just want to meet, when I see somebody who is a kind of a foreigner, if I may use that word, I'll just, I feel so happy. I would want to interact with them. I want to ask them question. Hey, how is it there in your country? Something like that. So I really would love to travel. I may not mention the relevant places right now, but there are a lot of places I really want to visit.
So in the States, if you were to come here, where would you want to go, or what would you want to see? Because I think it's fascinating. Like I said, we see Africa, so we see your country completely different by what the media presents. So for you, how is the United States presented through the media? What would you want to see, or maybe what would you not want to see?
In the US, actually, I would love to come there, but the main thing that is stopping me right now is I'm hearing like it's like people are portraying, the media is portraying them like people who are really racist. A lot of them are being racist. The media is portraying them that way. Of course, not all of them. I mean, I've met sweet people, I've met nice people, I've met people who are really loving. But the media is portraying it as some kind of people who, when you're black, you get there, they just treat you like trash or something. Like I said, it may not be everyone who is like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We definitely are. I wouldn't say that it's just how it's portrayed. I think it's a massive issue that seems to come in waves. And I think it happens with certain scenarios. I will say, I won't get political, but it comes up with certain scenarios, and then people do become very one-sided, and it does cause a huge divide. Um, And that's why we're doing this, is because there is nothing that divides us. There's nothing that stands between us, whether, like I said earlier, whether it's distance, whether it's race, whether it's male, female, whether it's any separation of what you think makes you either above or even below someone. I feel that we are all the same. And it's something that you talk about on your TikTok when you go live. We are all the same. We all love, we all have a heart, and we all need to accept each other and love each other and help each other, because I think that's what we're here for.
Definitely, definitely. But I'm sure the United States have, those beautiful places. Somebody could visit. I always see them, maybe in the movies, maybe in the media. Places like Miami. Places like. All those New York and all those places. I mean, places, places that are just cool. I don't like busy places. Although I know that already the United States is a busy place. So I would really love to visit Washington D.C. I'd love to visit those places and just see the beauty of it, because the world is, the world was made by God, and God is, it's beautiful when you go out there and explore things. It's really beautiful.
Well, I looked it up this morning before we got on this podcast, or for you this evening. You can make it to the States, or I can make it to Africa on a plane for 25 hours and 29 minutes. I mean, that's not that bad, right?
Oh wow, that's beautiful.
Very far.
Uh, Wow, that's really beautiful. I didn't even do my research. I just kind of thought about it in my heart, and I just said, and these things, if you don't calculate them, you just be thinking, oh, I think it's expensive to go there. But when you calculate them, you just sit down and do your calculation, you'll see that no, I could really visit this place, even if it's not for a year. Maybe for a month, maybe for 2 days. You just visit and come back. At least your heart, you in your heart, you become happy.
Mm-hmm. I looked up for your specific area. You're known for the best wildlife. 38% of your land total is national parks and reserves. So, what kind of animals do you have there? Because I'm not trying to be like, I mean, I'm sure listeners are going to laugh, but it's like, we see Africa, as you said, on the media. So when we think Africa, we think you're walking down the streets with like elephants and tigers, lions, and all this stuff. So what is it like for your wildlife and your weather there?
It's beautiful actually for the wildlife. Yeah, in Botswana, it's beautiful. We have the highest population of elephants in the world. I think we still hold that record. We have a lot of elephants. We have monkeys. We have baboons. We have antelopes. We have zebras. Even our national team is called Zebras. So it will show you that we really value these animals, and we're really into them. We have a lot of beautiful nature here, beautiful animals, a lot of them. If you come, you're really gonna be happy. We have buffaloes. We really have quite a lot of them here. Mm.
My
And
my favorite animal is an elephant, and I'm not sure where it's located, but I saw that there is like a orphanage for younger elephants. If like their mom or their dad or their pack have been killed, they take them there and raise them. So I have to find that, because I definitely want to come over there and see that. I probably would never come home.
definitely, we are going to keep you if you come here.
And then what is like your traditional food, especially like, let's say you're celebrating an event or a holiday. What's known in Africa for food? Like if I come over there, like what are the things that I definitely have to try?
We have different kinds of food here, but our food, I'll just mention them. We have what we call a pap or palichi. It's just maize meal. We you just yeah, just maize meal, ground maize meal. We just grind it, and then we use it with moroho wadinawa, which is just a leaf we use from beans. That we plant this beans, and then we get the leaf and we use it. We have what we call siswa. Siswa also is this beef, cow, the meat we get from the cows, and yeah, and that. We also have pani. Pani is yeah, this one is kind of strange. A worm, it's a worm that we harvest it from particular leaves, in the forest. It's a particular worm that we harvest from a particular leaf in the forest. So we really have beautiful food here, nice food. You're really going to love them if you come here. It's so many different, some of them originate from other tribes. I wouldn't exactly mention their names, but in English, but it will be difficult to mention their names in English. But we have some nice food here.
I can definitely eat beef because we have that here. Eating a worm, I'm not really sure if I could do that. I probably have to plug my nose and close my eyes and pretend it was something. Is it like slimy when you eat it?
Uh, we kind of dry it, so you could just eat it as a snack when it's so like dry like that. Or you could just maybe fry it, and it becomes it's not slimy actually when you eat it, because we dry it, so it becomes that hard, and then when you come to eat it, it's not it doesn't become slimy. So it's nice. You just have to get used to it.
My childhood friend, he went over to Egypt, I think it was last year, and he had posted just some things on Instagram and Facebook of the architecture and the buildings, but they serve crickets. Is that something you guys eat over there? Is this like just a third world country, like eating bugs is a thing? Or I mean, because in Egypt it was considered a delicacy, so it was very fancy to be offered crickets. I don't know if I could eat that.
Um, uh, I wouldn't say we eat them here, but I think maybe one of the neighboring countries do we have, but in Botswana, we don't consume it. We don't really. I haven't heard of anybody who really takes it in our country, and even I myself wouldn't want to eat that. There was a time we loved the one snack when we were growing up, and somebody just made a joke and said, "No, they make this out of crickets." Then I said, "No, I'm never going to eat this snack again because I'm not into that."
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on today. I know it is evening there, so it's kind of interesting because we're talking to you in the future. It is only in the morning here, so we're just getting my day started. But I want to thank you for being such a humble and just sweet natured human being in a world that is filled with negativity. It is so great to not only see your videos come up, but to interact with you on your live. You're always happy, you're always welcoming, and I am so honored to have you on today and just to be speaking with you from the United States all the way to Africa. This shows there is no divide. There is nothing that makes you better or worse or different than anybody else. We're all the same.
Definitely, definitely, my pleasure. Honestly, I'm so happy myself because of the support you give me. When I first met you on TikTok, I was so happy that time. I remember I was so happy. I was wondering, wow, so these are the kind of sweet people, who exist in this world. I was saying, oh wow, that is beautiful. And I was just saying, like, God, may God just bless you. That time I was so happy, and even now, I'm still happy because of the support you give me. Sometimes I'm live and my internet is lagging or something. You still watch my internet, and I say, you still watch my live, and I'm kind of like saying, this person, I know how busy she, should be, but she's still here hanging out with me, and it's so beautiful, and it just made, to continue being positive and spreading the positivity and helping people to get along, knowing that they could be the best in everything they want to pursue.
I always sit on your live, especially when you're always the first to say, oh, I'm having my internet is lagging or my internet is slow. I think we are in this world where we're moving so fast. We don't take the time to sit down and be there for someone and listen to someone. So I'm always staying on the live because your internet always comes back, you always come back, and you always have amazing things to say and to help. So I hope that God blesses you in so many ways as well. There's the dogs, they're saying hi to you because you always ask about them. and
Thank you so very much. I appreciate it too.
and again, thank you for being on, and I hope that you have a great, amazing, blessed evening since your day is almost done, and we will be seeing you around shortly.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Little Bit of Life. Don't forget to rate, review, and follow today's episode on your favorite listening platform. And share these stories to more that need to be in the know. Get in on the action with the podcast Facebook and follow the Little Adventures on Instagram at LittleCuteOneAZ. I'll catch you on the next episode.